Okay, so I've just got 2 fabrics at the moment just because that's just so I can do the demo. Or, like I said before, you've got 15 different types. You can do as many different varieties of that as you want to. You can go dark, light, black, red, whatever you want. The first one we're going to start with is number 1. Now I've cut the fabric, if you can see, wider than my actual square.
Yep.
All right, you don't want it right on the edge of your square. It's going to drive you nuts. You need a seam allowance. This is your stitch line. Remember I said about the unsealed and sealed roads? Sealed road is stitch line. So unsealed is a 1/4 inch. That was that in the pattern. And we had it in the pattern. You've got that dotted line. That's your cut line. Okay, so that's your 1/4 inch on the outside. So first things first is I'm going to choose which one first. I'm just going to go, right, I want the purple. Now, it needs to be, if I put that over there, it needs to be a little bit wider than what I've got, like that first one. So it needs to be as wide, if not wider, than the thickest bit down there. And just I just use scissors. You can use a rotary cutter, yep, if you want to, but for this I tend to use scissors. And what I do is I get the fattest end, and I do the nice, and this is why I say it's good for scraps. I've got to get these sharpened, I think. Yeah, I reckon, and they're not, you know, I reckon someone's used them for, yeah, they're naughty. Okay, so it's got a bit of a crease in it. If I was so inclined, I might iron it, only because I've got to lay it down flat like that. Now, when I get the second one, I'm going to do the exact same thing. So I grab my pink, and it goes that way. So I know that the thickness of the second one, just make sure I've got plenty of room. Take that one out so I don't cut it again, and just do that. Yes, I would, most likely. I'll show you what not to do. So now I've got my first 2 fabrics. Okay, and I tend to work bit by bit. I don't tend to cut 600 bits of fabric and then go, oh my God, where are they going? I take bit by bit and just little baby steps. So first of all, I'm going to sew this one down, and you're going to look at me and go, oh my God, yeah, right? I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to pin it to the back. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it back there, and I'm going to sew on that line. Okay. So I'll take it over the machine, we'll press pause, and I'll be back in a minute.
All right, you ready, girls?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm pinning this to cover the number 1 on that side. I'm going to pin on the outside, and I'm just going to pin there. Okay. And I'm going to stitch this one down on here. I'm only going to stitch, well, first one I always stitch all the way around. Okay, once I've done that, I'm going to take it out from the machine and go from there. So bear with me.
So we don't have to leave a seam allowance for that one?
No, the seam allowances I'll tell you about soon.
Oh, sorry.
Don't be jumping ahead of me, Helen. You'll get grounded.
You're back in your box. I'm already in my box.
Okay, so this has got a 1/4 inch foot on it. You don't need the actual 1/4 inch blade. It just needs to be set for later, so that doesn't make any difference. You got the foot on. Yep, we're all ready to go. Yeah, no, it doesn't really, because it's just a straight stitch. I'm on straight stitch, Marilyn.
That has moved the needle out of centre position.
Has it? Okay, right. Oh yeah. Okay, so I want it where it needs.
Not like the fancy ones.
Right.
We're going to get Marilyn up to a fancy
We will. So I'm just going to stitch exactly on that line. Take your time. Don't be stressing out. There, right? Exactly on that line. I don't want you stitching either side of it. Just take your time and stitch on the line. Oh, I went double. I actually went double vision then. I was staring at it too hard. It's good to know you're not alone. So I'm coming up to that pin. I'm going to take that baby out because I'm going to run over it, and see how I've got the white there. Can you see how that, I haven't come far enough. For the sample it's okay, but on yours please come right up. So you want to make sure it's real. This is what not to do. And I'm going to put the needle down. Can you see that's right on that corner? And I'm going to lift and turn. Hey? Okay. Now hopefully, what have you got in your bobbin, Marilyn? What colour? Cotton. Yeah, well, I know that. What colour?
The same as the top.
Oh, good. Okay. So now I'm going to just fold that and give myself some room. Okay. And pin, a bit of a roll. There we go. All right. Oh, I went to go and push a stop-start button then.
We will get Marilyn up
Normal.
Yeah. You need a nice 6700 there, Marilyn, I can see. Or I don't think they've got any more 77s, do they? 89, like I've got, it's good. Okay.
So always the first one you do.
First, always the first one you do this. All right. And I'll get it right on that line. And then turn, and I can see it's not quite on that. Can you see how it's not quite on that line? I need it on that line. So I will actually lift and move. Yeah, a little bit of fudging, and I make sure I'm on that line. That line is super duper important for later. No crooked. All right. So I'm just going to bring that up and cut that off. Maybe. All right, so that's stitched it on. Get issues with your tension, girlfriend. But anyway, look at it.
It's your material.
Thanks. All right, so you notice I've done that right side up. Okay. Yeah. So the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to put this pink on, and I'm going to turn it right side down. So I'm going to put it straight over there, and I want to have it so that it actually goes a 1/4 inch over that line, that pre-stitch bit, right? This is the part. There you go. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. Penny's dropping. Yep. Yeah.
How do you see it?
What do you mean? How do you see it?
You see the corner.
Oh, turn it back. All right, so I now need to sew back on this line and make sure that my fabric is where it needs to be. Try and roll this up again. It should be all right. It just does fold, so I'll just make sure it's not. Now, this stitch I've just done, right, I now need to stitch on the inside of that. Can anyone tell me why?
Watch out the hole, because you won't see it on the other side.
Correct, because you won't see this one then. Yep, because then when I flip it, that fabric's going to cover that stitch. All right, so when I pop the needle down, I want to make sure that is on that side, the inside of that previous stitch.
So just inside.
On the inside. On the left, yeah, yep. So I'm now going to follow that in.
Oh, yeah, so just right beside it.
Yep, right beside it. This is what will make or break your seams and your joins and stuff. That was a bit far in. I try and just go in. Oh, I'm going blurred vision again. I'm staring too hard. You do, yeah. I'm being videoed from all angles here. No swearing and no talking about people I don't like, which is not many. All right, so I'll just bring her up, and like that, cut her off, maybe. All right, so now I've done that. Okay, I'll take my pins out, and this is going to fold over like that. All right. Before I do that, I'm going to trim this at a 1/4 inch. Okay. So I'll go and do that, and I'll come back and show you the next step.
With the rotary.
Yep. Okay. Yep. So I'll show you that. Yeah, absolutely. To do this, you've got a rotary there. Rotary cutter. Yes. I thought you had one here somewhere. No, it's underneath. Oh, yeah. It's all right. Someone's got one. Okay. Beautiful. All right. So
you want to video this?
Might as well.
Okay.
All right. So then I just grab the ruler, put it at 1/4 inch, it's upside down. Get my blade, run along there. Simple as that. Once I've done that, I can turn it back over, flip that. Now I don't normally iron, I'll finger press. I iron at the end. And the reason being is because you'll stretch. And I don't want to stretch, I just want to pin it and have it nice and flat. So I'm going to grab the next bit of fabric. I'll be back in a second. Now, again, that's a bit wider, so I'm going to be a little bit gracious, take a bit of a guesstimate. Okay, so my next one, what I need to do is have it, because this one here,
Move it the other way up.
yeah, it will be. So I need to have that, sorry, Val, like that, because I want to cover that there. So the first, you can actually do this 2 ways. All right, so I'm stumbling. So you can stitch this down first, then come back and stitch that on top, or you can do it in one go. That's up to you. I prefer it to do in one go, because then I don't have to double stitch everything, okay? So if you do it in one go, you've got to make sure you pin it, because you don't want to have it baggy. So you don't want this one underneath to be too baggy. If you're concerned about that and you think you might end up making it puckered and stuff, then make sure that you, not iron it, but make sure you pin it to 1 inch of its life, okay? So I flatten really well. Then I place that there because I know my next one's this one after the pink one, and I know I need to make sure I'm going to cover. It's all right, because I'll come around each one of you, and then when that flips over, it'll come over like that, okay? So I'm going to pin that down there and take it to the machine. Sorry, lady. Okay. And then what I do is I pin there, and I can feel underneath if it's sort of doing the puckering thing. And I'm pinning on the actual seam, so I'll show you in a minute. The previous stitch seam, so. Okay, the only thing you've got to watch with pins is that you don't run over them. You don't want to throw your timing out in your machine. So I've see how I've pinned close to that line there? That means I know that I'm going to miss it with my machine, because I'm stitching that one there, number 3. Okay, so I go in, wrong way, silly woman. I tell you what, I might need to go back to bed, I think.
This is what you don't do.
This is what you don't, yeah, I'm doing a demo on what not to do. So, needle down, and again, I am going right on that line. Let me chair in, hold that up, and come on, girlfriend. Alrighty. Now, this is where, again, you sew straight on that line. If you're going to do it the previous way, you'd sew this one first and then just behind it when you put the second bit of fabric on. Alright, but I'm doing them both at once. I'm cheating. Cheating is good. It's healthy to cheat. So you'll notice the most important thing is making sure you're on that line. Alright, that's your most important thing. You know, if you sort of have it just fraction over one side or over the other, it's not too bad. You just don't want to go like off at an 1/8 of an inch or something horrible like that. So I'm going to come one step forward.
You don't do any back stitching or?
No, because at the end I'm going to stitch all the way around and that'll hold it all down, and then it'll go into the seam. Again, same process, take the pins out. We'll trim that off in a second, and then that folds over. Ready for the next one. Yeah? You with me?
Okay.
Cool. All right.